Oh my goodness. I do believe I know what that means, and it is a blessed, wonderful, beautiful, finally getting a little bit warmer, sleepless Saturday afternoon, and with no sleepless radio later on. In fact, no sleepless radio this weekend. It feels absolutely amazing and great to be back hosting Pull Up a Chair. And if you don't know who this mug is, well, let me tell you, it is the creme de la creme, the one that they do, in fact, call him Mr. El Tucurtente, the ultimate motherfucking sensei, a.k.a. we'll save the rest for next weekend when we're all aboard the Sleepless Ark. Big cheers, big pros to everybody, Doomer included. Say no brew this week. This is a Baja Blast. And we're about to have ourselves a Baja Blast, diving back into the simulation that we all know called life, as so much has unfolded in January. And just to once again address the absence, I do apologize, but we are back. We are back, and we are back for good, back like we never left. Feels absolutely great. I'm going to be holding down the fort here this week, but we're going to be having a lot more, not only guests, but we're going to start rolling out some interviews as well, maybe even somebody from outer state. Not outer space, but out of state. We're going to see who that one's going to be. But looking forward to all the things that we got planned, Pull Up a Chair wise. Once again, I do know that there's no Sleepless Radio this weekend, but we got the Royal Rumble tonight. We got the Grammys tomorrow, and I got a little thing that I'm going to be doing for the Grammys as well. And then Monday, I'm going to Monday Night Raw. So I'm looking forward to the weekend, using some PTO. Day job's been killing me, absolutely crushing my bones, keeping me there for over 50 hours a week, but we still get it done, and we still have energy for the shit that we love to do, because you got to get through the shit that you have to do the shit that you love to do. And what I love doing is putting my mug in front of these cameras, staring into this ring light, watching it burn my retinas, and I talk about all the craziness that has unfolded in the simulation called life. Well, let's get it right here started, shall we? First off, I want to say RIP to DJ Unk. I know we lost him earlier this month. We did honor him during a pre-show on Sleepless Radio, but I want to throw out that real quick. And then I also want to show, before we get into jokes and all that good stuff, seriously, much love, good energy, and faith to all those affected by either the wildfires, the crazy weather that's been going on in climates that are never used to that kind of weather, such as Texas getting snow. There's fires in LA. There's snow in Texas. There's planes crashing in Philly and DC. How did he not see the Black Hawk? I don't know. But needless to say, it happened. We still don't even know what happened to the airlift yesterday. But thoughts, prayers, of course, to everybody, though, that is affected and all those victims as well. But that's where I come in. That's where jokes might end up happening. So if that might offend you, it's probably not the podcast that you want to tune into in 2025. But yeah, right now it's just a lot going on weather-wise. I think the fires are out. I don't know. But either way, LA's been streaming my music the most out of Spotify. So thank you if that's getting you through that tough time out there. I really appreciate it. There for a minute, I thought when the Rams made it to the playoffs and won that first game, I thought, oh, shit. Here we go. Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. They're going to give them the Saints treatment from Katrina. But that wasn't the case. The Rams just couldn't play good enough football. I know if you also paid attention to random verified accounts on Twitter that probably shouldn't even be verified, X, I'm sorry, they had interesting theories. They thought the Rock Nation started the fires, so then they could burn any evidence in Malibu that may be located in a home that could link them to Diddy. Interesting. Do I think that Jay-Z and Beyonce flicked a lit cigarette into a bush? Nah, that seems a little far-fetched. Do I think that they doused a field in gasoline? Could be. Also seems pretty far-fetched, though. I'm going to go on record and probably say Jay-Z and Beyonce had nothing to do with the LA wildfires, but what do I know? I'm just another account on Twitter as well. Then we got the theory that Hulk Hogan started the fire. Okay, I'll bite, brother. They were saying that there's a chance he started the fire because on Raw's debut on Netflix, which went phenomenal, Hulk Hogan got booed out of the building, quite frankly. They said, hold on there, dude. You're not welcome in the Into It Dome, brother, because we ain't into it, dude. And he said, oh, hold on there, dude. I'm coming back with a gas can and a fucking handful of matches, baby. Your city's going to burn, dude. I'll make your whole city take a pin, brother. But no, I don't think Hulk Hogan could do that at his decrepit age. He seemed pretty rough trying to even rip the shirt out at the RNC. So probably go on record and say he had nothing to do with it. Some asshole, maybe that wanted to set fire and kill off all the pedos was another theory. They called it pedo wood. So he wanted to burn down Petalwood. But what a lot of people also fail to mistake in that theory, because again, it is an interesting theory to dive into. But then you realize where it actually burned, and I don't believe the Hollywood Hills were engulfed in flames. I could be wrong, though. Could be wrong. But who knows? Maybe all those people did it. Maybe Jay-Z and Beyonce and Hulk Hogan just wandered off into the woods and decided to set the whole city ablaze. Could happen. I don't know. I don't know them. Could be. But we can't say for sure. But I know that if it's not on fire right now somewhere, it's probably ice covered or has plane ashes all around, because that's been going on in a lot of places. There was snow in Texas, enough here that we would call that shit rain. That snow in Texas made them pull off to the side of the road. They had no idea what to do. They just froze up. It was like a glitch. It was like they glitched out. They had no idea what to do. But that's what happens. They never thought that you'd see snow in the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, but in the Gulf of America, it's possible, because now that's what it's called. It's no longer the Gulf of Mexico. Trump's, for one of his first things in office, he said, I know what we got to do. The change that this country needs. We're going to call it the Gulf of America. And Hillary Clinton, I think, laughed for the first time in 9 years. So at least that was refreshing to see a smile on her face. No salt trucks in Texas, they said. But then we got these planes crashing. A lot of planes crashing. There was a plane crash in D.C., Black Hawk and an American airliner. Too low to rain. Too low to rain. No, sir. Too low, because that Black Hawk helicopter, that Blackbird coming in like a ninja, we don't see it coming. Bop, boom. Next thing you know, they land in the water. Somebody asked Trump to all he had to do really was just send condolences to the family. And good 4-5 turned 4-7 said, hold on there, dude. I can't. You want me to swim, dude? I'm not going out there in the water, brother. I ain't no jobber. Which he's entitled to do so, which I kind of missed that entertainment. But then, hold on there. Then yesterday, we get an American airlift, an emergency airlift, that nosedives in Philly. Imagine that. Well, I know that the World Trade Center's sweating like Shaq at the free throw right now, because, okay, they made it to D.C., they made it to Philly, they're getting awfully close. But at least it didn't nosedive where the United 93 nosedived, because the chances that a plane strike, you think it's wild that lightning can strike twice. Imagine if a plane did it. That'd be insane. Land right in that same field, that would have been absurd. But yeah, it's hard to not recap January, though, and talk about all these crazy disasters that have unfolded right before our very eyes. But also a lot more to cover, though. There's been more rap beefs that have been stirred up. Got to get a plate of that beef. Where's the beef? Look no further. We will dive into it. We also got Balloonerism, got a lot more in her music to review. We got Jack Harlow rapping like the Rents do. But how about we start with DJ Academics, now banned from Twitch and stripped of all of his sponsorships. And finally, my prayers from 12 years ago have been answered. Thank you, God. It just sucks that it had to come to the expense of what he's being accused and charged of ultimately. But I've been saying for years that DJ Academics is a bum. Erykah Badu said on Everyday Struggle he looked like a rat. So I completely agree with Erykah Badu. I think me and her are on the same page. And if Erykah Badu agrees with me, I know I'm in good company. So DJ Academics, get out of here. Skedaddle. 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 Go on, get. We don't like DJ Academics. Get out the culture. Fucking bum. And then we got, Billboard created accidentally the most funny list of all time, but I'm not going to dive into it too much. All I'll say is they named their top 100 artists of all time, and somehow R. Kelly was 71. But neither here nor there. Dive into the new music reviews, because like I said, I am pumped to do that. I actually also just posted my January playlist from Apple Music on my Instagram, as well as my Reddit and on Snapchat. For those of you that follow me on one of those. But to recap some of my favorite music from January's, first you got to kick it off with what'll end up being record of the year, which is The Great Tweaker by Leangelo Ball, I believe. I know there's a couple of those Ball brothers. I might have misspoke and said the wrong name. But Tweaker's a fucking bop. I love Tweaker. Thought that was a banger. I think the people that don't like it, I mean, like I get it. Like it's it's a basketball player making a rap song. He's got 13 million from Def Jam, but come on, let's have some fun. I think it's a bop. I might swerve in that corner. Whoa, whoa. Jack Harlow rapping like I said, rapping like the rents do. He got an eviction notice. He almost got an eviction notice from hip hop, but after hearing Tranquility, I think Jack's rapping his ass off. I'm really excited to see where Jack Harlow goes. I think of the two singles, I didn't really like the first one. Sorry, I think the first one was called Sorry Miss. No, not Sorry. I'm trying to remember what that first record was called. Maybe Sorry Miss Johnson or something like that. But I wasn't a big fan of that one. But Tranquility, I do like a lot. I liked Redman's new project that he came out with. I added a couple joints on that. I added Jersey. I added La 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 with Method Man, and I also added Superman Love a 7 with Melanie Rutherford. I always love her voice. I added Jay Skeese, Fire in the Booth. Jay Skeese also is going to be in town tomorrow at the Grog Shop. Looking really pumped for that. I will be at home watching the Grammys, but all love to Jay. Hopefully I can catch him after the show, maybe for a bit. Looking really forward to that, though. I know he's going to crush it. Lil Baby dropped Wham. And I think Lil Baby, I do believe that his career had a buzzer beater that he needed to make, and it ended up selling pretty well. I thought some of the records on it were pretty good. I think he hit it and at least sent his career into overtime, and I think he bought himself some time. My favorites on there, I liked F You 2 Times. I like Due for a Win. And I was also a big fan of Say Twin. That was my 3 favorite on that. Then a week later, as the traditional new rapper fashion is, you drop the deluxe a week after, or even sometimes the night or morning of. And I did also add Idol, and I added Running This Shit as well. Love Lil Baby. Ransom finally released his project, which I believe it was an album. But I added 4 songs off that, though, and he finally publicly released it because I believe before you had to buy it exclusively on a website or a side site, something like that. But I added Tears from a Third Eye. I added Pragmatic, Where To, and Torn to Peace. That also kicks us back to Jay Skeese, my guy. I not only added, but I bought 40 Hours, his new project that he came out with. Tell you right now, I don't want to spoil or affect any of his rollouts or do anything like that. But Jay's got a lot coming this year, so keep your eyes peeled and ears to the street because there's going to be a flood coming. Starting with the 40 Hours project, my favorite on the record is Buffghanistan. Also love Way Up with Scoop Dollar, but he's always rapping at an elite high level. Highly recommend checking that out. And then that leads us to the album that not only did we do a whole listening session of as a Sleepless Radio episode, but we got to honor him for his birthday. And that's always a great, very special night for me. And we got to also listen to the project in full. But for those that don't know what I'm talking about, Mac Miller had a new album come out, long teased, and a lot of snippets and leaks that leaked through the grapevine and on YouTube all around and on SoundCloud through it. But it ended up being executed and delivered to perfection along with the Balloonerism movie, which I highly recommend checking that out on Amazon Prime. But Mac Miller Balloonerism, again, bought, paid for it. That's going to be my album of the year. I know nothing's going to beat it. Sorry to the other albums because there's been so much already that's came out, and I know so much more to come out. But my favorites on that, they change every day depending on which way the wind blows. Currently, though, I will say I'll give top 5 favorite on Balloonerism currently. I'll even try to go in some sort of an order here. Number 1, I'll go Friendly Hallucinations. Number 2, I go Transformations. Number 3, I go Stoned. Number 4, I go Funny Papers. Number 5, I go Tomorrow We'll Never Know. But that project, I couldn't say enough amazing, beautiful things about it. Mac, we miss you. Big cheers to you. Let me wet the old whistle real quick. Absolutely love that project, though, and the movie that was companion with it. They dropped a new single, and if their album's going to sound anything like the 3 singles so far, which are Diamonds and Pearls, Straight Up, and then the newest release, which is Choosing, that came out this month, I highly recommend looking them for the R&B fans. If you guys haven't checked that out or heard of them, you can go check them out. And I highly recommend that. They got 3 singles already, and I'm really pumped for the rest of the album. Which then that leads us to Logic. dropped an EP, Aquarius 3. I'm kind of hodgepodge, and I know I'm kind of hop, skipping, and jumping all over the place, but that's just kind of how I've added music throughout the month as I've listened to it. But like the Logic EP, I always think he gets way more hate than he should. I think he's a phenomenal artist, phenomenal rapper. I get it. He's done a couple of questionable, cringy things, but that's up for you to decide. But I really like French Dispatch. I really like Not a Game featuring Lucy Rose. Love when he works with her. Love Universe, and I also love A Message from My Younger Self. I thought that was inspiring as well. Boldy James dropped a phenomenal new album. Boldy James ain't going nowhere. He's keeping the foot 2 feet on the gas at all times. His brake pedal's also broken. He dropped a new project called Permanent Ink, which I think the whole project's stellar from top to bottom, but my 3 favorites on that would be Dawn Mega, Single File Line, and It Hit Different. Highly recommend checking that out, though, which then leads me, though, to my second favorite album that has came out so far this year, which is Can't Rush Greatness, Central C. Absolutely love Central C. I know that for some reason there's a trend going on right now that he started the Nike Tech wave. Don't really see the angle on that, but again, that's how you want to feel. How am I supposed to dictate how you're supposed to feel? You just go on and feel. So I feel this way, though, about the Central C album. I think it's an absolutely incredible album. Highly recommend checking that out. I know UK rap is kind of an acquired taste, but I think once you get into it, man, it's absolutely phenomenal. My top 3 favorite on there, definitely St. Patrick's, number 1. Number 2, I'll go 10 with Skepta. How many vibes I pull up with 10? For number 3, I would also go Top Freestyle. Top Freestyle on there. But that's my second favorite album to come out this year. I've listened to that a lot. Teddy Swims dropped a phenomenal new project, Part 2 to I've Tried Everything But Therapy. Thought the record with Giveon, that was a single, was great. But my favorite on there is Northern Lights. Also like Funeral a lot as well. Shout out Teddy Swims. Tyga and Lil Wayne, turn your calendars back. I thought they actually dropped a pretty good bop. They dropped Pop It Off, which is apparently the first single to Tyga's new album coming out as well. St. John dropped a new single called Poppin', which I wasn't really a big fan of his first 2 singles on this installment that he's got coming out, as he calls them, installments. But I did like Poppin' a lot, though, produced by Tay Keith. Definitely think that's a gem. Ice Cube dropped his 3rd remix to It's My Ego, but it's also a banger. He dropped it with Scarface. And then we got the record that we all needed, especially with all these disasters going on right now. We got Fat, Juicy, and Wet with Sexy Red and Bruno Mars, which is a banger, even though I feel like that should have came out closer to summer. Reason and Boz linked up. They dropped Not What You Think It Is, Not What You Think, which I thought was a great collab. Larry June and 2 Chainz are coming out with a collab project. Yeah, I agree with Doomer. Scarface did kill his verse on It's My Ego. Larry June and 2 Chainz are linking up doing a project with The Alchemist, and they've now dropped 2 singles, which is Bad Choices, and I believe it's called I've Been. Highly recommend checking out both of those. Always love 2 Chainz and Larry June's, and I'm glad to see 2 Chainz on his real rap shit, because a lot of people forget 2 Chainz can really rap his ass off. Jenny, my mistake. Jenny and Dominic Fike, Dooley's Dominic Fike, who put me on to him. Got Love Hangover, which is a great collab that just came out. You got Blue Jean Baby by Zach Bryan. I thought that was a banger. We got Will Smith and Big Sean. Well, Will Smith was in the video, finally getting to play Neo in The Matrix, which I actually thought was a really cool touch that they did that for the video. And I actually thought Will Smith rapped really well on it. So I actually recommend checking that out. And, don't make fun of it. Keep the hate low on Will Smith. Come on now. He's been through enough over these past couple of years. Shy Glizzy dropped a new record with No Savage, which I thought was pretty dope. I've actually always been a pretty good size Shy Glizzy fan, believe it or not. Big Hit Boy and Ty Dolla $ign linked up, and they dropped Slow Your Roll single, which I thought was dope. But then that leads us. Well, before I get to the Weeknd's album, I do want to say Mike just put out a great album, capital Mike. It's called Showbiz. I do recommend checking that out. I added Then We Could Be Free, Watered Down, and my 3rd favorite being Man in the Mirror. Thought he had a great run. Shy Glizzy's back, Doomer. Shy Glizzy is back. Force my hand. And now the Weeknd has forced my hand to talk about his retiring project, if he will actually end up staying retired, which Highly doubt that, considering how his acting bit in The Idol went. Kind of went down like a lead balloon or like a plane in Philly. You knew it was coming. Like I said, sorry if you're offended. I gave you the preface at the beginning of the show. But The Weeknd dropped a new album, though, called Hurry Up Tomorrow, which is supposedly going to be his last album. And man, that shit was sounding like some House of Balloons. I really hope that that's not his last album because he absolutely smoked that. The transitions, the production is absolutely incredible. My three favorites on there being Cry For Me, Reflections Laughing, and Take Me Back to LA. Absolutely love those. But a lot of great new music that came out over the course of January. So if the rest of the year is anything like this, we're in for a treat. And we know there's plenty more coming. Some release dates that have already been announced. And man, I'm just excited to just see you never know what's going to be coming out. And you got your ultimate sensei that has music coming out this year. So come on, it's going to be a blessed and wonderful 365 all 2025. But you can't talk new music reviews without talking about that beef that I mentioned earlier. With all the beef going around, you got to get yourself a plate of it. So to kick off the year, Joey Badass has been throwing shots left and right. J. Cole caught a stray. In fact, he's caught a couple of strays at this point. About everybody from the West Coast he wanted to put on notice. A couple rappers felt some ways about that, Ray Vaughn being one of them. Ray Vaughn's not a fan of the East Coast. He also doesn't like Maul from Rory and Maul. He said Maul gonna get boxed bad like Timu. Not really the biggest fan of that bar, but all love the TDE and Ray Vaughn. Love Ray Vaughn, love TDE. I love all these guys that are involved. He kind of jumped over Mick Jenkins, though. Joey Badass kind of skipped over Mick Jenkins because Mick Jenkins replied to him. And then he just didn't say anything about Mick, and then instead went back and doubled down on his Cole take and said, I might delete later. I know Joey won't. But he's now dropped back-to-back. First it started with the Rulers back. Then he went to Sorry Not Sorry. And I love Joey Badass, Joey before the money. But I do think that he should maybe not jump the line and go at Cole. And I feel like maybe he should kind of assess the situation a little bit and actually go with the people that are legitimately responding to him. But what do I know? But yeah, a lot of beef going on there. J. Cole, unfortunately, like I said, he's catching a lot of strays. Ray Vaughn, though, he put himself on the map with that diss big time. That helped elevate his name and his push. And I just think Joey should maybe start sparring with the people that want to actually spar. So I don't think J. Cole's going to put the gloves on, especially with you, Joey. You'd look a little weird. Sorry. Which then, that leads us to, let's see, do I want to talk about the Super Bowl? Yeah, sure. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. So, with the NFL playoffs, you can't recap everything that's went on in January without recapping January football and all the playoffs that have unfolded, which there's been a lot of upsets. A lot of people wanted to see Bills and Lions. The NFL referee said you will not see that. You will see the Eagles and Chiefs get their rematch in because Nick Sirianni took notes a couple years ago, and apparently he's got grand ideas. Yeah, big time annoying that he's trying to do that. It's just kind of aggravating. Come on, Joey, you're better than that. But with the Super Bowl, though, it is fucked up to see what happened to the Lions. I really wanted to see either them or the Bills at least get a W. But we're stuck with the Eagles and the Chiefs rematch. It is what it is. People hate the Chiefs. We hate Patrick Mahomes. The referee suck his cock. He sucks the referee's cocks. Either way, who knows? There could be a cock on the football field getting sucked. It looked like Andy Reid was in that picture. I thought that was AI, but then hold on there, dude. Turns out that was a legit photo. Why was he kneeling down in front of the ref like that? Did he drop his pencil? I don't know. But either way, we're getting the Eagles and the Chiefs. Can't wait to see who y'all got winning. I'll try to give a ballpark score here. I know I'm usually always way off, but but let me go with, for the playoffs conclusion, I'll go with Kansas City Chiefs beat the Eagles. Let me go 38-31. We have a high-scoring game. Some pass interference call gets Patrick Mahomes up the field, and Chiefs win the Super Bowl 38-31. Eagles don't have enough time to come back. But we get a high scoring banger. Obviously, we get Kendrick Lamar at halftime, but we'll cover that a little bit more next week, talking about what I think his set list could potentially be, because I need a little bit more time to think on that. Plus, who knows, maybe my Super Bowl prediction could change throughout the week. But as of right now, I do have the Kansas City Chiefs once again holding the Vince Lombardi trophy, which who knows could soon be the Tom Brady trophy, except you might have to deflate the ball on top. I don't know if that would be an issue as far as manufacturing it. But do I think that the refs are helping the Kansas City Chiefs? I do believe that it's starting to look a little bit fishy. But I also wouldn't be mad, though, if the Eagles end up winning and Saquon Barkley gets a Super Bowl. Because the Giants said Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley. We're going to go with Daniel Jones, and now Daniel Jones is in Minnesota. And Saquon Barkley's in the Super Bowl. So the Giants just kind of have to eat 2 fat L's on that one. But now to pivot back off of sports, I will conclude and end on this for this brief yet fun and always blessed and wonderful episode of Pull Up a Chair. And thank you, good brother Doomer, for being live in color in the chat with me. But did just want to throw out that for my cinema geeks out there, for those that didn't maybe see the take, Quentin Tarantino recently was asked, and I believe it was a interview in a magazine, because I saw it as part of an article, where he was asked about how he feels about the current state of cinema culture and why there's only some select movies or franchises that seem to really thrive in the theater, as opposed to movies that have high budgets that go to the theaters and can't even get close to recouping. Yes, it was on podcast just like this one. But thank you, Doomer, as well, for the fact check on that. But he said in that ever since 2019, he feels like in 2019 going into 2020 is when he firmly believes that the overall cinema culture and going to the movies, making it a thing to go and pay a ticket and sit down at the movie theater, either by yourself or with your loved ones, or, with your significant other or others. Don't know how y'all get down, but it's all respected and welcomed here. But train of thought derailed, back on track. Thank you. As far as his take on that, I actually do agree that ever since 2019, it just seems like it's been, you get your Marvel movies that do really well. I was glad to see that Keke Palmer and SZA just had a massive hit with that movie. But even one of the things he was saying, that he just isn't a fan of, and it kind of makes him almost hesitant to release his final film, given what the current state of cinema culture is that you got movies that'll come out to the theater, and then 2-3 weeks later, boom, they pop right up on Fandango, and you can rent it in your own home and you can buy it. So why am I going to make it a thing to go to the movies if I'm not really catching on opening weekend or the following weekend? I've already heard people's banter on Twitter. I've already heard it spoiled for me. I've already see that it's coming soon on my screen at home. So why wouldn't I just stay in the comfort of my own home? Which, it's easy to understand, but at the same time, that just makes it so much more difficult to actually put asses in seats in the movie theaters, given how easily and convenient they make it to be to not have to go to the theater to see it. Personally, I don't get to go to the theater as much as normally as I'd love to, and as I used to do by far, used to go all the time. Hard for me to make it a thing to go anymore. And to be honest, when something comes out 2 to 3 weeks later, well, I can just order it in the middle of the night and rent it and watch it while I'm slugging brews, smoking cigarettes and ripping bleezies and all that good shit. And you definitely can't do that in the theater unless you got one of those fancy old pans. But I think right before, though, COVID is kind of where Doomer said, it's been since pre-COVID. Yeah, see, until they're streaming. And I feel like that's honestly how it goes. And I feel like that's how most people feel, and you can't blame them for feeling that way. Nosferatu just came out to the theaters not even a month ago, and a week ago it was available for me to rent and buy on here. And you can buy, that's the other thing too, you can buy the movie for $25. Okay, well, if I went to the theater, $25 is both the tickets. Now you got to pay for the popcorn, which is fucking insane. You got the pop and, candy. If you're going with somebody else, you're paying for them. Oh my goodness. Racks up really quickly. But, I think, which I'm not mad if Tarantino wants to delay that 10th film, because I know he wants to also direct the play as well. But I agree with him. I think that it's kind of a shame. I wanted to see Den of Thieves 2 in theater. Didn't get around to it. I'm going to end up renting it on here, maybe even just buying it and just so I know that I have it on there for good. But it is sad to see what happened in the movie theaters and just the overall cinema culture. But with that being said, 30 minutes down. To close on this episode of Pull Up a Chair, I did just want to say thank you guys for being tuned in. It feels great to be back. And like I said, we are back for good. I will be live every single Saturday from here on out. You can cash that twice and take it to the bank on a motherfucking Tuesday. And if for some reason we're not live on a Saturday, we will be live on a Sunday. And these episodes will be available for you either live or throughout your nights and your weekdays. Thank you guys, though, for being tuned in. If you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe, the comment. Tell me what you think and give me all your takes and predictions. Bumps and Bruises exclusive episode out now as well about Royal Rumble. Also on my YouTube, which the Royal Rumble is getting ready to go live here in 48 minutes Eastern time, and I'm looking really forward to that. Share your Rumble predictions. I got a brief video over there that covers that. And thank you guys for being tuned in to Pull Up a Chair episode 94. Sleepless Rate episode 231 will be, or episode 230, 231 will be live next week. New merch available soon for the pod, so you can exercise your demons and dress like your demons through every holiday season. And thank you guys so much for the love on the new music. Keep streaming, keep running it up. 29 Candles coming soon. Snippet on my Reddit, TikTok, Twitter, IG, Pornhub, Weezer, Deezer, Geezer, Pandora, and Old 30 Sleezers. I don't know. Somewhere it's there. But love you guys so much. Appreciate the love. Keep the love high and the hate you know where. Wake up with a smile on. Remind yourselves of 3 things you're grateful for. Look in the mirror and say, I love you. Peace.